Hello everyone, it's Wednesday and time to have some PLO fun. Corpus already said it's 50 shades of PLO, but we are not going to do any bondage. At least I hope we are not going to do any bondage. Impact Point asked about my hamster. I'm pleased to inform that the hamster is fine. It's acting normal now, wandering around his area, or what the heck that glass box is. But he's fine. Been eating, been drinking. So probably he was just sick last week. Today we're playing on Microgaming. Last Friday, just before the Finnish PLO evening, I decided to change the coachings to a different network. There were often so many regulars on Wednesday and Friday evenings on Stars, and just wanted to have something different. So I went to Microgaming, and oh boy, games are pretty good there. A lot of features. We're going to play PLO10, it's in euros, so it's, I don't know, PLO12 in dollars, probably. As the shared funds are in dollars, I'm going to calculate the winnings according to Poker Tracker winnings, because it shows the winnings in dollars, so that's what we are going to use. Now, the thing is that, let me see how we can get the tables here. Oh dear. Arneid, nice to meet you and welcome. If you have any questions about the coaching or Poker Mania, just feel free to ask. I'm going to open 4 tables, and as usual, when you comment the hands or ask anything about the hands, 1, 2 on the top, 3, 4 on the bottom, say what was the table and what was my hand. Of course, the replayer actually sucks. I have no idea how to run it. I can open it, but that's it. But we can find the hands on some other way. I have no idea why my HUD isn't working. Maybe my computer died. Well, let's see. I'm just going to open 2 tables before we can get this Poker Tracker to work. Do I need to restart it? Now it started to work. There has been a lot of problems with the HUD. Sometimes it works, sometimes it just doesn't work. And now my whole computer is freezing. The basic principle differs slightly from what I have played in Poker Stars, because at Poker Stars the average opponent is slightly better than here. Here we have a lot of these VPI. This Sirmate, he's a regular playing a lot of tables, VPIP 49. So when there's a lot of high VPIP guys around the tables, I adjust my game more towards balance, not balance, more towards value. So I'm not opening any button against these guys. It just doesn't fold. Like on the big blind, folds only 1 out of 3 hands when button opens. Here we have a nut, cut shot, and overpair. But it's flush draw board. I'm just going to fold it. So I don't make a lot of big bluffs. People just call me down. You will probably see tonight that there's a lot of really bad calls from the opponents. So less bluffing, more value. Like here on level 2, I'm going to value bet my top pair. I have some backdoor stuff and so on. And now, when he check raises and he shoves, we are pretty much done. And most likely, set versus set, yeah, kings and tens. Here on left table, I don't like to limp behind on the button, especially when I have the nut flush. So I much rather open tonight, because when I hit my hand, I want to get value. And when there's a lot of passive calling stations or passive players, it's hard to get their stack if it's a limp spot. So I want to create 1.6 spot here, so I can bet my stack in. But once again, pot and shove, we are definitely done. And he donk pot and folded. Wow. Probably quite aggressive. I have no idea if my computer even runs 4 tables here with all the streaming softwares. But let's see, I'm going to open if I can. Oh, there's no waiting list, so... Oh, that's deep table. Well, we can open 1 deep table. It doesn't matter. So this is 200 BP deep, and my preferred buy-in is always the maximum. So here we are playing, oh, we have aggressive player on the, I'm actually not going to sit there. The player was here, the player on our left was marked yellow, which means that he's an aggressive player. And I don't want to play 200 BP deep with the aggressive player on my left. So yeah, we probably, if we open only for value on the button, we should open a full pot. Like there on our button open, actually we should have open full pot. It's just, I have been opening 2.5 on the button for a quite long time. It's in my reflexes. Definitely something to remember. So it's a good point from you Lost Pro. Wow, these guys are here to gamble. Wow, he shoves all in with nothing. Gut shot. There are 2 types of player in this network, as far as I have seen. There are these VPRD 50 plus guys, and then there are super aggressive gamblers that just want to flip and either go home or go big. I'm just going to call. We flop the nuts. When he doesn't see bet, we have to bet. Callan says that if he wants to bluff on that board, definitely no reason to pot, but as we saw, he's pretty strange guy. Was it this one? Yeah. Turn completes a straight, but he has a lot of flush draws and 10-9 type of hand, so I'm value betting this turn. But don't bet in on 10-4-4 against 3 people. I don't like it, because someone often has 4 or an overpair, and people call with ace-10 on those boards. I have seen call downs with ace-10. On table 2 we definitely bet our straight and 2 pairs. On table 1 I'm completing from the small blind. And on table 2 the 9 doesn't change the board in any way. It gives us the flush draw. But 7-8 is still the nut, so when he doesn't raise the flop, I think he often has a worse hand. Of course he might have 7-8, he's low playing. But when we have 2 pair and flush draw, we are just committed with strong enough hand there. And as you can see, a lot of limping. So the basic principle is just wait until you hit and just value bet the shit out of these players. Yeah. The only bad thing is that we don't have a waiting list. So I'm going to sit in table called Jasmine. And people use really strange bet sizes and really strange lines. But what I have seen often, especially when these weaker players, if they raise, they probably have it on the river. Here we have no information on our opponent, we have just a flush draw. But when opponent donks 20 cents in the pot of 60 cents, it's quite easy to call with the flush draw. And I'm going to turn and probably call in the river. When he checks, there's not much value in betting. And he has just 8. I think the turn is really bad card to barrel. Can I open it here? There's a repair, but I can't resize it. Wow. Thing is that when I called the flop, what happened here? Well, the software is kind of bad, because sometimes what happens, like I'm facing a turn decision and I make my turn decision and suddenly it goes to showdown. And this was reported on our forums, and I have had it too. Oh, we had 3-way all-in with aces against pretty nasty hands. But we held up. Nice. Triple up. Like here, 86, 43, 33. Oh my god. Well, at least there's a lot of variance. Callan actually, would I have called a flop in that spot with ace-10? I wouldn't. Because the problem is that someone behind me might have better hand, and with ace-10 I'm just going to face a really tough turn and river decisions. Oh, I almost checked that we have the straight flush here. Mean bet, mean bet, mean bet. Can we get some value. I think he has worse hand in his calling range if we raise. When we have table 4 limpers, the position doesn't really matter, because those limpers are often quite loose and passive players. So they don't raise you unless they have a hand, so it doesn't really matter in what position you are. When you bet, money goes in; when you don't, it doesn't. So the game plan is to just wait for a hit and then just bet. Here we get money from the shorty, flip on the flop. Here no one bets the turn, so it's really unlikely someone has a 5, because if they have a 5 or full house, they would bet the turn. That said, I have seen people slow playing like hell. Double cut shot, mean bet. I'm going to call 1 street. Of course, 9 isn't to the nuts. And now, if we want to call, we have 8 outs to straights. We will hit it about 80% of the time. We still need to have like $1.50 as implied odds out of position. Really hard to get, so I'm just folding here. On table 4, I'm check raising this guy. But he doesn't see bet. Ace really hit his range. And on the river, I'm just check calling. And he had 2 pairs. He had top pair and cut shot on the flop, and he didn't see bet it. Here we have 13 out of wrap, and I think we can bluff the turn, because he has a lot of we've made hands. He might have a straight draws. We have a lot of folding equity when the flush comes, and he knits it back to us. I don't think he ever does this with air, so often it's a nut flush. When you're playing on table where there aren't any sort of normal tight aggressive players, it's kinda hard, because all you can do is play pretty honestly with your hand strength. When there's limpers and these VPIP 90 kind, like here, shorty 50 BP stacked with VPIP 90, you cannot make any moves. And when there's aggressive players, it creates some difficult spots, because against aggressive players you really want to slow play, and at the same time against loose passive players you should be value betting a lot. Now we just wait. On lockdown boards, it's quite interesting, because if the opponent doesn't adjust, you can bet half a pot with your whole range, with 100% range, and you are just printing money. And when they adjust, adjust, then if they adjust by just calling with weaker and weaker hands, then you can adjust by either tightening your c-bet range or barrel out of turns. And when they start to adjust by raising you, then it gets interesting. There's one player, his VPIP is like 80 or something, I can't remember his name, but I made a note that he raises a lot of those 8-8-5 boards where I see bet half a pot. So what I started to do, I started to check how does he react if I min raise back to him, and he just folded a lot. But overall, if opponent raises us a lot, then what we want to do is that we tighten up slightly or change our c-bet range towards value hand. And we bet call with overpairs, trips, and so on. Of course, it depends if we are in position or out of position. But you can calculate it. Here he checks. Might be tricky play. Turn aggression 17, river 100. Of course, two hands. I'm going to check back. And if he bets the river, I'm actually going to fold because my hand looks a lot like flush draw. Here on table 1 I called his min raise. Because if we hit the nuts, there's a lot of implied odds to get. And just don't get too creative. I have seen such a light calls while making big moves that I just decide that, especially on PLO10, PLO4 on this side, I'm not going to make any crazy moves. Even if it seems to be profitable, because often the situation is that opponents get attached to their hands. If they have a good hand on the flop, they just cannot fold it. I have seen people calling with sets when there's straights and flush possible, and I check raise turn for a pot and pot the river and trying to make them fold. They just don't. And the same thing, if I river the nuts, I can just get huge value because people just want to call. Here opponent hasn't ever raised, so my standard line is to c-bet half a pot. And as long as he keeps folding, I can do it with my whole range. And when I get more information on his turn river aggression stuff, then I might start to think to slow play my value hands. Like if I have trips, I might check, but often we might just miss value there too. Here we have top pair, open-ender, backdoor flush draw, all kind of stuff. Ultras has doubled up, it seems. Oh, he's from Finland. Nice to meet you too. We have open-ender and a flush draw. I'm going to continue betting. Of course, 10-8 cuts there. And he probably don't have the straight draw. So what he has is some weakish made hand, which often actually beats us, or he has the flush draw. So I'm going to check fold the river. And he had weak bottom two bears. Wow. Oh, he picked up the flush draw on the turn. but I'm pretty sure he would have called the river. The problem with playing speculative, how do you pronounce it? I like the word marginal. The problem is that if we play against these fishes with marginal range, we are going to hit a lot of marginal hits, and then we are not sure if we should value bet the marginal hits or not. So when we hit bottom two pairs or middle pair, top pair with weak kicker, small flush draws, the thing is that if we limp with marginal hands and check down our marginal hits, then where does the value come from? And if we start to value bet the marginal hits, the opponent can easily have better hand. Because even VPIP 100% range will hit strong hits every now and then. So I would much rather keep my range made up from the hands that can hit the better portion of the hits, like top two pairs, higher flush draws, that kind of stuff that I know I can value bet against this calling range. Because that's the problem. Often people think that, oh, he's playing any hand, he cannot hit the flops, and we tend to play with almost any range ourselves. So we make more profit, in my mind, if we play with wide range, but it's made up with hands that will hit even better. What happened here? Can someone tell me, how can I run this hand? Or can I? Like, going back one step. We can't. Because I would have just like to see where do they go all in. Well, no idea. He raises us. Cut shot over pair. Yeah. And here we have top three. And I'm going to put it. And he had the cut shot. The thing is that pretty much only cut shots hit. And he has a lot of flush draws, a lot of ace 7, weaker, or just lone ace. So I'm putting against his range, and of course, he had the cut shot, like he's calling the flop. Oh, he had two pairs on the flop, yeah. I think if this 10 was 9, he would probably call my bet, because he has the cut shot and two pairs. And a lot of limping going on. This coaching Sosolo is actually one of the few players that have any decent stats, and even he has VPIP 38, which is pretty high. C-bet only 30%, so I'm going to bet flop and continue on the river if it blanks. Yeah, it's a shame that the replayer doesn't work. And I'm going to c-bet here on table 1, and if I would c-bet for value, I would bet 65, now I bet 55, and I don't think 52-26 guy beats it up. If I have a feeling that he will pick up my bet sizing, then of course I'm going to change my bet sizing the same as for value and bluff. And when he raises, he has raised a lot, 2 out of 5, now 3 out of 6. But when we have only middle pair without any draws, it's kind of sucks. Here this LFC, he 3-bets a ton of hands. Like he's, from the blinds he 3-bets 3 out of 7. Here's some hands that he has 3-bet out of position. Queen, Jack, 9-5, King, Queen, 9-3, King, Jack, Jack, 3. I think we could... Yeah, well, we can sit out. Wow. No timer. I think I should have called there. Of course, the problem is that pocket jacks will miss the board quite often. If I had ace, king, jack, jack, I would have probably 4-bet, because then the only hand we are really afraid is pocket queens, and even against that we have 2 overs. Here he bets 25 cents in the pot of $1, and now we pick up the open-ender. And now he puts... I mean, who knows? Heads up PLO, rate is beatable, everything is beatable. You just have to be good enough. But I know a lot of people who play PLO 50 heads up and are profitable. Here I'm just going to check raise. And he folds. Well, when we have weak 2 pairs, that's pretty good result. So yeah, heads up rate is beatable, especially on stars, where heads up rate is lower than in 6-max tables. On every other network, as far as I know, the heads up rate is the same as in normal tables, which is quite high. Yeah, that's kind of what people say. So if your pre-flop hands will hit more often, stronger hits than the opponents, you make profit. So when there's a lot of limping, just play like, if the opponents play 100%, you can play 40% or 50% and make profit. And in PLO, 40 or 50% range is huge. One misses seems to be somewhat decent regular 22-10-10. Here on table 1 we have the flush draw with the cut shot. And he donks again. One option is actually to raise smallish. They are not going to fold. So the idea is to spend few BBs. If we hit the flush, we get a lot more value from them if they are drawing to the flush. But on the other hand, calling is bulletproof plus EV call. If we raise, someone might re-raise, and then we are in a nasty spot. So when the opponents offer me a plus EV play, I'm definitely going to make it. And 40 cents into a pot of over €2. Definitely drawing. And we actually hit the straight, but there's a lot of higher straights on the board. Of course, this Finnish regular is quite aggressive, and I think that when he made such a small raise on the turn, he doesn't have 5-6. Wow. It's kind of spot where he might have missed draw, he might have blockers, pocket sixes, and I'm going to call based on his turn bet sizing. It doesn't make sense with the straight when there's 2 flush draws. And he had nothing. Oh, he had 2 pairs. Well played. Here Nitty is marked with red pin 18 and 8. Nitty bets this flop probably has a set or a straight or some kind of 2 pairs and flush draw, so I'm just going to fold my whatever I had, weekly flush draw or something. And he opened from under the gun, only 6% so far. Wow. 3-betting would be bad, because if he really opens 6%, it means that almost half of his range is aces. So if we 3-bet, he's going to just shove his aces. I'm going to call here and hope someone does something stupid. And here I'm going to check call this Ultras guy. Oh, he had better 2 pairs. And when he checks, I'm going to make a bet. And he goes, now this kinda sucks. Because I'm really afraid of pocket aces or ace-3 here. But I think when I make the full house on the river, I have to bet. But if he shoves, there's nothing I can beat. 3-8 is the only hand, and he might have ace-3 aces. That's about it. But when he calls the turn, he has something. Probably had just an ace, or he just didn't want to fold. or he had a weak 3. That's a really standard line. Here the aggressive guy 3-bets us. We have double suited, double pair. We call. We don't hit the set. We check fold. And he checks behind, which is strange. Do we have the straight? No, we don't. But in his check back range, wow, only 26%. We cannot represent much. Wow, pocket queens and doesn't bet it. On table 3 we flop the trips. He c-bets only 27%, so I'm going to donk here. Because I don't want him to check behind. If he has overpair, he's never folding, but he might check it back. and no action. In tempo 2 we hit the top set. We have the open ender too, so there's not much we are scared of on the river. Too bad this guy hasn't raised ever. Wow. 320 hands, not a single donk, not a single check raise. So we are probably not getting value from him. And he probably has a 10. Yeah. So we got some value. And there's a lot of people that like, how does this work? A lot of people like him, middle pair and a cut shot. So the hand is actually just garbage. And he calls. A lot of people draw. I'm actually going to call, and the idea was to wait for a safe turn and check raise him, but because we have 10-8, so if the 9 comes, we have the straight, and we block some of the 10s, 8s. Of course, king is bad, ace is bad. And I'm just going to bet. If he has ace in his hand, he's going to call me. And he didn't. And now he 3-bets from the blinds. And the only 3-bet I have seen is that, so oh dear. If I had more timer, I would have probably folded, because his range is just dominating us by a mile. But I'm actually going to bet here, because I think he's going to check fold a lot of overpairs. And when he c-bets 27 normally, 67 on 3-bet pots, seems like a guy that when he checks, he doesn't just have a strong hand. So this guy is in the top 3 regulars on PLO10 and lower. Or top 5 actually. And he has huge leads in his game plan. Two pairs. Definitely c-bet. When a shorty opens, I don't want to call, because there's not much implied odds even if we hit the super nuts. And there's 2 people behind me. If they raise, the situation sucks, so I'm just going to fold this garbage. And he is 56 VPIP, so when he's playing short stack, there's not much folding equity post flop if he has any piece of the board. Here we hit, what do we have, top pair and a couple of backdoor flush draws. And this guy makes a min donk once again. This is deja vu, happened before. There's not much any good turn cards we want to see. Some 5 or lower hearts is one of the best ones. But I'm just going to call, see if we pick up the flush draw on the turn. Well, we got the 5, but it's not the 5 of hearts. And against 4 people, if they all check, I would check behind, because there's a lot of 2 pairs, over pairs, kind of stuff, so I don't think we can value bet these against 4 people. Now we probably have the best hand always. And he ports it. Wow. It's like, this doesn't make sense, but on the other hand, we are really at the top of our range. So there's no way we can fold, there's no way we can raise, so all we have to do is call. And see, he had a queen too, but worse kicker. The problem in his donk potting is that when he bets queen 9, what worse hand will call him in ever? So I think he would bet smaller, maybe get overpair call or something, or check call as a bluff catcher. I don't like his pot donking. I think he has a lot of leads. If he c-bets 29% with 25% freeflop raise, it pretty much means that when his flop aggression is on 27-24, these are really low aggression numbers, it means that he pretty much c-bets when he has it. Of course he can check call with the nuts, but that's just wasting value. And out of 26 river showdowns, he has won 21, which also indicates that he wants to go to showdown with really, really strong range. And when I see all his numbers, it seems that he is kind of player that doesn't want to play post-flop without a made hand. Probably might make money on this environment, but if he goes to star PLO25 with these stats, I'm not sure if he's making money a lot. We have 2 flush draws against this guy. I'm going to check it back. And we hit the backdoor flush, which is always the better one. And now he bets half a pot. Of course we have to call. And he had ace high. So he was betting his missed flush draw. Here on table 4, I'm going to call the turn. As if he's bluffing, he's often checking the river. And I definitely am ahead of his betting range on the turn when he thinks that alone. And he had just a pair of jacks. Of course, that c-bet might be lower if he has played here alone and he kind of thinks no one ever folds anything. But still, a lot of these players, their average fold to c-bet is high enough so you can c-bet a lot of boards with 2/3 of a pot c-bet and just make profit. But when it's down to 30, it really means that he's probably betting only when he has a hand. On table 2 we get a 3-bet from a shorty whose 3-bet range is made up with high cards, but I'm calling because we definitely have good set value, and now he shoves. Oh, it's a wrong player actually. We don't have a stat on him. He's a shorty. We still need like almost 40% equity. Here on table 1 we pick up the open-ender and pair. And when I check the flop, I'm going to call the turn. And his river aggression is pretty low, of course 1 out of 3. He pots the river, don't think it's a bluff. Yeah, but no limit hold'em is slightly different than PLO. In PLO, how do I say it? The way that the board changes on PLO and the fact that the whole game is post-flop means that someone might make a lot of money with low c-bet, but then they should balance it out some way. But even when his turn aggression is that low, it kinda tells me that if he was... the low c-bet might be fine. Maybe if there's a lot of aggressive opponents that attack his checks, then he might check raise a lot of flops with made hands, or check call flop and be aggressive on the turn, but his flop and turn aggression are both low. So it's hard to find a reason why c-betting 28% would be good. Yeah, it doesn't mean he always does it, it's just an assumption. And of course, I have to pay attention what he does. And like if I see that he checks a strong hand instead of c-betting, I'm definitely going to make a note out of it. Wow, here we got a 3-bet and coachings. If I were coachings, I would 3-bet all aces, kings, queens, premium jacks, ace, king, queen, double suited type of hands, because this LFC's 3-bet range is just so wide. And he shoves. Ace, queen, 4-7 pre-flop. Wow. Why would he shove it? I have no idea. Against the code 4-bet. But yeah, he's $22 losses so far. So there's a lot of these type of players. He's just gambling. When he has a decent hand, he's just gambling. And playing with these aggressive monkeys, as I like to say, you just have to gamble. If you think you are ahead of his range, just get it in. And in the long run, you will make profit. But as there's going to be a lot of all-ins, it also means that the variance is high, and you might actually lose many binds to them. So if you are not ready to face 10 bind downswing in 15 minutes, then don't play with these guys. And pocket nines is kind of I'm just going to leave and kind of set mine. But no action. Queen 9 suited on the board. I thought that if he has any piece, he's going to call my raise. Coaching is winning. And the funny thing is that one reason why I made this specific player analysis of this coaching Josala is he has never donk bet, he has never raised a flop C bet. So there isn't any stat that indicates any kind of aggression. No 3-betting, no donking, no check raising, flop turn aggression really low. So in my book, he is really a passive player. And when passive player has low c-bet, it often means that he bets when he has it. Here is a call. And he probably has aces. Now we have 10 outs against aces. $5 more. Going to be so close that I think we have to fold. If he bets half a pot or something, I would check raise, because then we have a folding equity. But when he pots the flop, he's never folding any hand he has. And we just don't get the odds to shove, and we don't get the odds to call. Now with only 4 tables, I'm not going to open any more tables to outside, because I think this 4 is maximum. There's no timer or time bank. Timer there is, but no time bank. So if I open more tables while I'm doing a coaching, I'm probably going to sit out a lot of good spots. I'm going to see if there's any other tables open. Yes, there is. I'm going to change this table 3, because there's this aggressive guy, and then there's a regular, tight is regular, somewhat regular, not a huge fishes on the table. So I'm going to open another table and hope to find those VPIP monsters. And the spots I don't are 100% villain or board dependent, often 100% villain dependent, because often when I donk, it's in the spots where I think I can have a lot of folding equity and my opponent has low c-bet number. And here we get a 3-bet, we call, we flop the trips, and now this is, wow, he doesn't see bet, then we have to bet. If he just folds, it's really strange. And he probably has just the bluff catcher, so I'm betting slightly bigger. As if he goes a turn with aces, there's a huge chance he's going to call me. Here we get it in with aces. Let's see, yeah, it's going to be 3-way. Once more. Hope he has a pocket pair this time. And they are blocking some of their outs, but yeah, he got a straight, and we don't get the full house there. 50% pre-flop on 3-way, that was huge. No luck there. Could I review the hand against assumed aces? Yes, I can. Remind me in the end. I'm going to bluff this board on table 1 because no one shows any interest. And if they just call, we have a decent equity anyway. And I'm going to barrel the river. And he doesn't. Oh, he had a set. Yeah, that's one way of playing a set. Check when you are ahead and call when you are ahead, behind of the range someone is representing. Well, actually, he folds 13% c-bet so far, so probably not a good spot to actually bluff the river. So what I was saying is, when I don't bet, it's definitely villain dependent. On the outside table, opponent 3-bet, we call, and we get it in against pocket tens. And we make the quads, and we double up. Now that was kind of nice stack off from the villain. Well played. Here is the hand history. This isn't the hand history, this is showdown replay. But yeah, he 3-bets, but when I raise this flop, his pocket tens is just crushed. He doesn't even have the straight draw. So yeah. Again, this is a guy who doesn't see bet a lot. So I'm donking here against this guy. And then we bet more value. We have the second nuts. And I'm going to pot the river. If he has the flush, he's going to call me. So Steven, oh, I can move this table here. Just remember the hand. I had something, I can't even remember what I had. But I remember the spot. When he had less than 100 BBs and he potted the flop. I'm here 9875. I'm going to follow. We have a super aggressive player on our left. And the hand is pretty weak in multi-way pots. And here he donks pretty big. But we have only top pair. I'm going to fold. Because it's his third donk so far. That we know. Wow. Going with the cut shot. Here I'm going to bet my overpair just to protect it against flush draws and straight draws. If you have any more questions, just keep them coming, or comments, or good jokes, or poker stories, or whatever. Because with 4 tables here, there's a lot of empty space that we can use to discuss about stuff. I'm trying to remember if I promised to discuss about anything poker related today. Can't remember. Probably not. There has been some discussion on the forum about changing the network from stars, which is actually what I did here. And it was in, well, I'm not going to open my browser now. That would suck. Ace, 5 deuce, 4. He's probably going to open a lot of hands, but let's see the flop. Ooh, that's nice. We have the nuts. Should we be afraid of anything? No. I'm going to call. Now we have 3 pairs and a straight flush draw, cut shot, and second nut. So now we get it in. And he has same straight, but we were free rolling by a mile, 64 with the same straight. But we made a small profit because this Kyyberi was in the pot too. 50-0-0 out of 60 hands. Oh, I gotta love. So as you can see, the average field on PLO10 here is a lot softer than at PokerStars. So can't remember whose block it was. But I said that when you are trying to change or thinking about changing your games to another network, there's some criteria you need to think about. There's going to be the actual rate, which means the rate you pay minus all the rate backs and bonuses. So that's one. You have to know how much you pay rate and stars actually, or how much you lose in rate, and on the new network how much you lose in rate. Then you have to think about the traffic. Then you have to think about the average field or the level of opposition. Then you have to think about security and customer support and the transactions. And the fact is that everything else but the average level of opposition, PokerStars is superior by far. But as we can see here, the level of opposition is softer, so you can make more profit on these smaller networks, especially if you use the first deposit bonus to maximize it. Oh, he donks. Well, we have the double caution and we are blocking 9-10. We have the flush draw, so I'm definitely going to call one street. And now we have close to the nuts. I'm actually going to limp here, because I suppose he is opening any hand. So I'm limp calling as a sort of pre-flop. No, that's the word. Pot controlling. And I'm going to bet big. I think he might have 5-4 or 5-9 often. And he doesn't. Probably had a set if he has anything. Wow, he checks. That's suspicious. He has a flush draw for sure. 45 cents. I have to call. Oh, he had a full house. That's the way to get value. Yeah, it was suspicious. I told you. On table 1 a minute ago. Okay, let's see. How does this work? I'm trying to see. We had top pair and cut shot. Oh, I'm just sitting out here. And I'm sitting out here. I shouldn't watch any replays. I cannot find. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Sorry. Do you mean this hand? When there's straight possibility on the board? This is what often happens on these tables, is that like we open from button and we get 3 or 4 callers, and we have a huge multi-weight pot. And when we have this type of weak hand, there's no reason of c-betting, although we might be ahead of their range, but it's so hard to get the showdown with the best hand. So if anyone bets, just fold and trust that you're going to make the money when you hit the board. Of course, to a min bet, there's no way I'm folding. And now hope that he 3-bets, because we have premium aces. Yes. Can we even raise for value here? And he raises. Oh dear. That sucks. Now I'm going to level myself. He might think that we don't have the straight. I'm going to call. Here we get a bit all in, and we have the nut flush draw, and no one has anything. So we win the pot. Did we win it? No, he had 7-8. Christ. How does this work? He had nuts on the turn, he had some rainbow flop, so he cans open. I would have raised the turn, so he can get more value if someone has the smaller straight. Here on demo 2, I'm going to just call the flop. There's not much we are afraid of. Of course, the ace is the only card we don't actually want to see. But now we only lose to pocket aces. And when he just keeps betting, if his range is ace-3 and ace-ace, we still need to call. And he had just ace-3, because I think there are more combinations of ace-3 than ace-ace. And he might be betting, of course ace-king actually beats us too. Wow, didn't consider that. Can I mark this hand? Because I kind of want to calculate that, are we actually ahead of his range? Because I was just looking at my hand and I didn't realize that he might have ace-king too. Which means that if he's betting all the full houses, I think we still need to call because we only have 30% equity. And he might actually bet any king. Or any 3 if he wants to. On the roll from hand, probably the reason why I didn't want to call, if I remember right, was that this guy has high turn aggression. Which means that if I call the flop, he's probably going to barrel any turn. And even if I improve my hand to 2 pairs, it's still a nasty spot to just call the turn. And then if he barrels the river, we have a really nasty decision. If his turn aggression was lower, which means that he might attack the flop and then slow down on the turn if called, we might do something else, but against barrelers, I much rather call with, if there wasn't a straight possibility on the board, it would be nicer, because then our top 2 is probably often the best hand. Top pair, not flush draw, definitely get it in against shorty. If he raises, probably. If he pots it, I'm just going to fold. And we time out here. Because when we have the nut flush draw, it takes a lot of his drawing hands away from his range. As we are 300 BPs deep, if he check raises with the draw, it's probably to the nuts. Today we are going to play 1.5 hour session. Which means that in about 10 minutes we're going to close the session. So if you have any things in your mind or any comments, questions, jokes, whatever, you still have 10 minutes today to point it out. No information on the opponent, so let's make this vacuum button open. And here goes, we're going to make the vacuum c-bet. And we make profit. Wow, the Ultras is the guy who buys in with 50 BB stack, and now he has 200 BBs. I'm going to crawl and hope he comes along, because we have a lot of nut potential in our hand. Does anyone know who JPAA is? No idea. I'm going to make a smallish raise with the same bet sizing as with the bluffs. But he just folds. Damn. I would have probably called on the river with any two pairs. But now when we actually make the straight, I'm going to donk, because yeah, he has king deuce. So if I check, if he has any two pairs aces, he's going to check behind. So he's probably not going to bluff a lot of rivers. But if he has a made hand and I donk the river here, it actually means that he might put me on a missed flush draw. And of course the fact that I would never donk here as a bluff means that my bet on the river is super unbalanced. So if he knew that my river bets are only for value, he could exploit me a lot. But the fact is that on this level, it's really probable that he will never pick up on my river bets. So I think I can exploit him as much as I want with that kind of river bet. But on the same time, I know that if he's a good regular, then just donking there with the straights is not good. Rolfam says that he's heard about Column's high step player, has written, where are those articles? Because I would love to hear those, but if he's a Finnish too, I don't recognize his nickname. So if you can tell me where the columns are. I'm going to 3-bet this hand. Let's create a bit multi-way pot. Oh, we cannot overshove. Well, let's flip, and he has pocket fours. We have a lot of outs, but we don't hit any of those. 59% favorite with ace high pre-flop. Today I actually found out that most of you have heard about PLO from scratch, from Bucks. There's section 13 and 14 that aren't translated to English, so they are not included in the free ebook. And I just found them today, and with Google Translator it's pretty readable, and there's a lot of cool stuff in those. He checks. I'm going to check and hit 2 pairs on the turn. And I'm going to call and hit full house on the river. Poker is so easy. Of course, we are probably winning only a couple of BBs here. Definitely bought the river. Table 3 died, so I think it's time to start to close the session. I'm going to play 1 button and then I'm going to sit out. Well, I don't know. Have you tried to Google his name? Or do you know his real name? $600 BP deep, PLO is quite interesting game. Especially if you know your opponent is a good player, then you have to think, where is my edge? And I honestly think that a lot of high stakes players play the games even when they know they don't have an edge. They might win, but if they have any sponsorship deals and marketing stuff and advertising deals, then they have to play to keep their name alive, so to speak. So especially if you are playing like 3-way or heads up at high stakes against Jungleman, do you really think you have an edge over him? So it's always interesting. Or do they even think about that? Because if they have the role to play those games, do they even care if it's minus EV for them? Here we are definitely 3-betting this shorty. And if he calls, we are going to shove almost any flop. Because that flop sucks, but the SPR is 1.5. And he cannot exploit, even if he puts us on aces, when the SPR is 1.5. And his calling range is definitely wide enough to stack off here. Of course, now he has a set of queens, so yeah, he was crossing. But when he calls a 3-bet with this hand, when he has pocket queens in his calling range, we can shove any flop on SPR 1.5 and make nice profit. Rolfam, I have PLO from scratch too, it's available internet. I was talking about sections 13 and 14. And now if you go to look at your PDF, it ends in section 12. I have it here. Actually open. I'm going to show it to you. This is the appendix, or the content of PLO from scratch. It ends in part 12, but there's parts 13A, 13B, and 14A that are on internet. Actually, I think that for some reason 14A is same as 13. But there are two sections that are not translated to English, but you can find them by just put on Google PLO from scratch section 13A. Probably not sure if it actually doesn't found. You have to go to the page where the Donker articles are, because Donker doesn't work with that name. I can remember what the name of the site actually is. Then there you have to find all the threads that Box has started, because the name of the thread is PLO from scratch in Norwegian. Box is from Norway, so the articles are in Norwegian. I can put the links to my blog. PLO from scratch is probably, it is the best PLO book I have ever seen, and it's actually free, so it's just nuts. If you consume all the information there is, you are crushing PLO 50. Probably. Almost. PLO from scratch, it's the modern way of 6max. Of course, it emphasizes that you want to win big pots, and to win big pots you need to have strong hands. Especially at micros where there's a lot of multi-way pots, you often need the nuts to win the pot. And there's just a lot of good information and explanations of why we do something in PLO. Here we can definitely get it all in. I can shortly, let's see who else wants to join the party. I hope he doesn't call. Actually, I made a mistake. Oh, once again we lose to the pocket pair. Thank God they are shorties. I actually made a mistake there. Well, I can open the hand now. Mistake was that I should have 3-bet the amount that is small enough. If he shoves, it opens another betting round. So if I 3-bet smaller, he calls, he shoves, I can re-shove to get a lot of my stack in. Of course, we are 300 pp's deep, so it might not be good, but at least it gives me the option to make a big bet and get an SPR1 with this Ultra Sky. But when he folded, our mistake didn't cost any money. His pre-flop strategy is not taken from big play strategy. There are some stuff he borrowed it, and in Jeff 1's big play strategy, the only good thing in that book, when thinking about 6max, is that he has a really good explanation of what makes a good PLO hand and what not. We make the nuts with the redraw on table 1. Now we hope he shoves his bear straight, if he has one. And we make the nuts on the river, so I'm going to bet big. I'm actually going to fold here on table 4 my aces, because I think he has a queen a lot of times. Where does this go to? Yeah, this is the thing that when you go to endunker.com, it doesn't show the section 14 or 13. It shows only 12. So that's what the Google says. I'm going to post you the link, because you have to use translator. I can even give you the link with Google Translator doing his stuff, or its stuff. So you can find it's about playing from the blinds, and the other section is how to construct a GTO approach to paired boards, which is heavy mathematical stuff, but really interesting. Too bad we don't make the full house here. Let's make a blocker bet. And he had the flush. One option is to check fold the river. Not sure if he bets the river with the worst hand. Who knows? And one hand on table 1, and then we are finished. We made profit today. I'm really sure, because I think we lost only one buy-in so far, and then we lost few medium-sized bots. If this guy calls, I would call. But now, out of position 200 pp's deep with bad kings, I'm just going to fold. I will have to check fold so many flops, and I don't want to shove pre-flop or overplay on the flop. So, now we have to check our profits. But nothing happens. Oh, there it is. Decent. Yeah, you cannot see 14 there, because it's in Norwegian. Yeah, it's PLO frak runnen av. Let me see if you can use this link. So there's this. Wow, does this work? Yeah, there you can see actually is 13A and 13B in English. Wow. Well, that's nice. You can see 13A, 13B, and then the section 14 is actually in here. I'm going to give it to you. And you have to put that to Google Translator, it's in Norwegian. So you can find the section 14. So yeah, how much we made profit. Here's the graph. I always love when session goes this way, that we are just making profit from the start. $40. Why this is this in dollars or in euros? Because we won 40 euros, so it's over $40. This isn't correct. I don't know why it's this, but I'm prepared. I wrote down, or actually took a screenshot of my bankroll before the coaching, and I'm going to check the bankroll now after the coaching, so I have the exact euro amount. And as this doesn't actually work unless euro and dollar are same today, which shouldn't be the case, I'm just going to check what's the daily course. 40 euros should be around, or 40.9 should be around $46. Oh, here it is. This is all in all. It's in the wrong order. Sorry. Yeah. For the past 5 years or so, I have my win amount here and all-in amount here. So that's why I was confused. So we won $46.7 in dollars and 40 euros in sum. Actually run pretty much with EV. The graph is here. Here we got lucky, and here we got kind of unlucky. And then we just went up. 4.5 buy-ins, and we played 400 hands, and we didn't have a lot of really tough spots, and none of the opponents gave us hard time. So it's quite nice to play at Microgaming. Now, I don't want you all to come to Microgaming because I want to play there too. So go find your own fish pond. On Friday we have the Finnish PLO night, and on next week we have Wednesday. Thanks for joining, and if you are watching this on YouTube, please join Poker Mania. Here's the address. And come to the live coachings. It's more fun live than just watching on internet, like with the women. Now, have a good night, have a good grind, have a good sessions, whatever you're doing. I'll see you on Friday, and I'll see you on next week. Bye bye.